Good morning. This is Michael Everett Reef, and I just wanted to tell you about myself. My certificate says I was born in the county of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And my earliest memories are of living in a small house somewhere when I was about 5 years old, and my mom having a 1972 Chevelle Malibu. And I stuck a nickel, and I remember it was around my 5th birthday. I stuck a nickel in the ignition, and I managed to turn the ignition and put the gear shifter in neutral, and the car rolled out of the driveway backwards. And my mom came running out and said, "How'd you do that?" I said, I put a nickel in the ignition. She said, "Oh, no, you didn't." I said, "Yes, I did." She said, "Don't lie to me." But I did. I said, "Okay." And then we moved. And my next memory is of living in the same neighborhood as the Philadelphia Police Academy, Holmesburg. And then going to the New York State Sheriff's Association summer training camp and academy in the Iroquois National Forest in New York. And then there was a couple of years there where I drew a complete blank, and just vaguely remember possibly being in Seattle. That would have been around 1978, 1979, around there. And then we lived in Frankfort, in Philadelphia, which makes sense because that's where the first union hall is for the Transportation and Transit Police. And Frankfort Hospital apparently has some partners here in the Seattle King County area, and they're the Native American Indians. And I think that's the years they must have been doing something. Maybe because I was sometimes told I had an adverse reaction to vaccination. And I think that's when they used to do the talking to me and asking me about, well, this, that, and the other thing. And then, oh, pardon me, I got a little cough right now. This, that, and the other thing, and decided they were going to, well, I guess promote the things I say and do in my life as something special. Well, anyway. Other than that, I remember being a crossing guard in Philadelphia as a child. And I guess that was police academy to stay up with, having gone to summer camp and all the sheriffs. And, well, then began a long journey of various business schools and the like, and then having been told when I was 19 that the reason I probably got hit in the head with a hammer when I was a Seattle police officer was because I had accrued a net worth of somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million. because of all of my academics and uh, being in the schools and inventing different types of uh, formulas and different sort of designs in technical drawings and the like, and technical thoughts, input on design and songwriting and music. And well, I got the consolation prize. They must have felt bad and decided they were going to guarantee me Social Security. But they said that essentially it would be like I'd be working because I guess they had a feeling that they wasn't ever going to leave me alone after that. Always coming around and wanting something from it that I ain't got. I ain't got no money, so what do you think the other thing is they want from me? Well, those are facts of life. Sometimes when people know you're poor, they think you'd be willing to do anything not to be so poor, and well, anyway. So now I get a little Social Security and try to buy what I could afford around the beginning of the month. Well, it doesn't last all month anyway, so sometimes I get a little something. Excuse me. Keep me entertained, like this little notebook here. Pretty useful. It does the job of just keeping me busy. But seems like work, but doesn't everything. Anyway, sometimes I get a guitar, and well, that I can seem to manage to hold on to. So that's the way that goes. I'm 43 now. And I'm a minister and well, preacher, pastor, minister. Came up that way. Foreign countries, I'm in the Middle East. I'm like an imam, a sheikh, cleric, an ayatollah. It's all sort of like there's like a worldwide school, like a lawyers guild, an actors guild, a lawyers guild, and well, I'm a member of both. Even though I can't practice law uh, for money and representing someone other than myself, because well, I'm doubly sworn to the court. That means I'm a judge, but uh, the only case I've ever remember hearing on a personal level was a bail hearing at a county jail for a guy that missed court, but he lived there locally. And the magistrate wanted to deny the guy bail, and I told him that wouldn't be necessary. We were going to give him bail at 10%. And then the magistrate got a little smart with me, so I said that I'd ROR him, which is I released him his own recognizances, and that if the guy didn't show up for court, that it would be his job to go get him and bring him in. And he kind of said that he was going to get me for that with a smile on his face, meaning he probably was impressed because I said the right thing, although without positive sort of confirmation on that, right? I mean, you never know, right? So anyway, But I was at the courthouse, and I did graduate with my Juris Doctorate. They brought me in kind of secretly, not altogether secretly, because they had to go over 3,000 miles with me. And here at the United States Ninth Judicial District. And the picture days in my judge's robes, holding my Juris Doctorate, was in around 94, 95, 1994, 1995. And it was a pretty happy day. They kind of told me that it probably wouldn't go any further than that because sort of the climate of the courthouse about who gets to be there, working there on a steady basis and stuff, and sort of kind of how the lawyers and the attorneys are. They they're a bit like socialites. Some of them like that. They like to have big crowds where everybody kind of knows one another, lives with one another, and have the same sort of habits and the way of talking and stuff like that. And well, I ain't too sad about it. It's just being out here, and I never had a chance to get married or buy any real estate, as far as I know. I got a lot of managers and stuff, and sometimes I think maybe they hide behind me. You know what I mean? And it looks like one thing, but it ain't. So that's just what I got to deal with every day. Helps me to remember to pray more than probably average bear. You know what I'm saying? Kind of tired. I was sleeping over there, and some people woke me up using the killer ware and all that stuff. And the same crowd as usual looked like they kind of partied too hard, and then said something about my feet stinking or something like that. But indirectly, like whose feet stink around here, like all this and all that. But 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've been riding the buses a lot and everything, and to try to avoid that. And I guess they must have found out that I was over there. I was told once that I snore, and so I guess they just felt they needed. Crazy thing is they're Indians, so that leads me to believe that Homeland Security codes. They're the transit police, right? Transit police. That's that's Frankfort, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and maybe the people that go from here to there, right? Well, that's got to be Homeland Security, right? Doing their thing, right? Keeping me awake and everything. I was told I have sleep apnea, which means because of getting hit over the head and psychotropic poisoning, which is medication and stuff, when they think you're crazy, but because they don't know for sure mostly, probably done some damage. It's going to take a while to recover, on its own. And that's just kind of crazy, huh? Wake up like that, no cigarettes, no coffee, and people kind of talking crazy and stuff. I mean, give me a break, right? And I guess they're not into handing out breaks, right? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you, right? And they'd be brazen like that, right? Not caring if I made martial, right? I mean, just kind of like thinking, that's so fucking what, We're from the same part of town and all, right? Yeah, well, I was hit by a car when I was 8 years old, and I went blind, deaf, my tongue curled up in my mouth, mute. Then I fell down and hit the ground. I went unconscious for about 6, 8 months. So, you know, right? How's it going? So anyway, I'm not trying to say nothing neither. Anyway, before I really start, doing that more, I better just let you go. Have a nice day, huh? Hope everybody behaves themselves. I gotta go try to find some breakfast, some coffee or something. Doesn't ever seem to be anybody around from back home and stuff. Now that I'm a minister on Social Security, barely got any money coming in. You know, I want a soda. Just be friends and some rich people or something. Maybe they put me up for marshal. They just want to have breakfast or something like that. Ain't nobody like that around. Wonder why sometimes, you know. I guess that's just the way it is. They're kind of sad for Philadelphia. It's supposed to be, you know, Philadelphia freedom. Like that. Nah. Go figure, huh? So long.